Now, on last week's video, I had dozens of comments like this one, and like this one, and like all of these. And it's evident to me that cost is a real barrier to entry to getting a motorbike license. So today, I want to take the time to answer the question, why does the UK motorcycle license cost so much? And is it actually justified? Now, if you haven't seen my last video about whether the UK motorcycle license system is designed to stop new riders, then I'll link it in the pop-up banner at the top of the screen, because the response to that video has been huge. But digging through the hundreds of comments that you guys left, one thing came out as a topic that was covered over and over again, and that was about the cost of getting a license. Not the cost of buying the bike, not the cost of the insurance, just simply the cost of getting a license in the first place. Some people were saying it had set them back in the region of £900, some were saying around £1,000, and others were saying as much as over £1,500. And that's before buying a bike or buying themselves any gear and safety equipment. So like last time, let's do this properly and have a look at the facts behind why it costs so much. So what does a license actually cost? The first thing we need to do is separate the cost of a motorcycle license into two areas. You've got the government costs and then the training school's costs. The government side of the license is honestly not actually that bad or that expensive. These are fixed costs and they are non-negotiable, so it doesn't matter who you are, absolutely everyone pays exactly the same. These costs can be broken down to the following areas, which are your provisional license, that's the first thing you're going to need, and that's going to cost you £34. Then you're going to need to do your motorcycle theory test, that's £23. Then you've got your practical test for module 1 at £15.50, practical module test 2, which is £75 or £88.50, depending on the weekday that you pick. So all in all, the DVSA test fees are going to cost you between £147.50 and £161, depending on the day of the week that you pick. So where does the other £1,000 go? Well, the real cost here is training. So this is the second column we're breaking the cost down into. This is where the training providers take their slice of the pie. The first step on any ladder to riding, whether that's your A1, A2 or full A license here in the UK, is going to be completing your CBT. And that alone is usually around £150 to £200. Then if you want to progress on from your CBT, any other license, as I mentioned, your A1, A2 or full unlimited A license, well, that's going to cost you somewhere in the region of £700 to £1,100, depending on the school that you're booking with and the test package that they put together. All in all, together, suddenly that £1,500 figure that people have been quoting suddenly becomes very real. So why is the training element so expensive? Well, this is where a lot of people assume training schools are laughing it all the way to the bank and rolling around in luxury supercars and have wallets stuffed full of cash, when the reality is really not that way. If you pause for a moment and think about what motorcycle training centres actually have to pay for, you've got multiple bikes, constant maintenance of those bikes, tyres, fuel, insurance to cover you as a rider with no experience on their bike, insuring the instructors, and then you've got the instructors' wages, you've got the yard space, you've got the admin staff, and you've got the DVSA compliance list on top of all of that. Repairing these bikes because they get dropped and abused, renting of safety gear out to you guys, the list is so long and extremely expensive. And unlike car lessons, the instructor can't just sit alongside you and watch what you're doing and maintain that one individual vehicle. They have to ride alongside you, supervise you, escort you to tests and back on yet another motorcycle, using even more consumables. Once you see it all like that, the price starts to make a lot more sense. But Jack, why does it still feel like a rip-off, I hear you asking? Well, that's because of the way the payments are structured. Despite the cost being totally justified when you understand all the costs associated with the training schools, they still act like a barrier because it's not a spread out cost. Take a car license, for example. You don't just pay £40 a week for a car lesson every single week for a year before you go in to do your test. When it comes to motorbikes, you're asked to pay hundreds of pounds, sometimes over £1,000, all in one hit. And for a lot of people, especially with Cosy Lives and the crisis we're currently in with the economic situation, that's enough to make most people walk away entirely. Or worse still, just renew their CBT on this endless dead-end cycle of low-skill rider training. Now, for the international audience, it's probably worth pausing and taking an international reality check at this point. So, just to contextualise the UK costs against some prices from overseas, I didn't do a deep dive on this, I just simply asked Google AI to tell me some costs associated with some of the European countries, and I've picked the most expensive and the cheapest to compare it to. So if we look at Spain, a rider can go out and get an A2 equivalent licence for around 400 to 800 euros, which when you compare it to our prices is an absolute bargain and makes them look, well, ours look ludicrous. But then if you go to somewhere a bit more safety conscious, somewhere like Germany, then they're more expensive. You're looking at around 1,300 for your basic package, although it's about 1,700 euros to get kind of a full unlimited license. So yeah, The UK is not, uniquely expensive, but compared to some European countries, it does start to look a little bit steep. Now, as always, I just need to take a quick pause in this video because I need to shout out this week's video sponsor, who is Beeline with the Beeline Moto 2. Okay, so I just want to introduce you to this. If you want a full breakdown, I've actually done a complete unboxing video and first impressions video, which you can see by clicking the pop-up banner at the top of the screen. But in short, the Beeline Moto 2 is a very, very simple, very sleek, nice looking, distraction-free motorcycle navigation device. It doesn't use massive screens and it doesn't send you huge amounts of notifications like having your phone glued to your handlebars would do. It just gives you a clear, glanceable direction system, which I think is really suitable for new riders and those that just want a more clutter-free experience whilst out on the bike. So anyone who wants one, there's an affiliate link in the description below. I do earn a small commission if you guys go out and use it, but ultimately you don't pay anything extra for using that affiliate link. And it genuinely helps me and it supports the channel and allows for me to keep coming out and making this free to view content. Anyway, as always, that's enough advertising. Let's get back into the video. So then, is the system designed to stop new riders? Well, that leads us full circle actually back to last week's video, which you can see at the pop-up banner, where I asked the question, is the system designed to stop new riders? And well, my answer in that week and now is genuinely no, I don't think so. But it does functionally discourage new riders. I think there's strong evidence to back that claim. It's not because the system itself is malicious, it's just because of how the costs associated with getting a license for a motorbike are structured. This isn't just a rider problem. It's an industry-wide problem that people that work in the industry of motorcycling are facing every single day. Because fewer riders means they're selling fewer new bikes. We're selling fewer accessories and we're seeing fewer customers coming into the market and creating that new bloodline. And when people feel priced out before they've even started, they don't come back. And that raises another question then. Is the UK motorcycle industry actually dying? We can have that discussion on this video over here where I answer that very question. Let me know in the comments below how much you actually paid for your license in the end. And if you're still riding on a CBT, what is actually stopping you progressing? Is it the cost barrier? If you've not done so already, then please like this video, hype it if you can and you're watching on a mobile device. And again, if you've not already done so, you can subscribe to the channel by clicking my face over here. Please ride safe and hopefully I get to see you guys in the next one.